Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Wire to Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL Genius, Gene Walzak. In the upper left corner, we got Kent State's own, Cleveland's own, Papa Cottrell.
Gentlemen, how are we feeling today, man? How are we feeling?
I'm good, old man. How are you?
I have no complaints here. I really have no complaint. I guess I got one. I lied. I got one complaint. For the first time in a long time, I don't have any football to watch this upcoming weekend, and that upsets me.
And they're like a college football, like East versus West game or something.
I mean, you got the Senior Bowl, but we know how these All-Star games get. I mean, it's essentially what it is. It's a pseudo All-Star game.
It's more competitive than the Pro Bowl.
I mean, that's not hard. I mean, that's
he's not wrong. It is more competitive than the Pro Bowl. What's up, Saigon? How you feeling? How you feeling? You got to be feeling great. You know, Saigon's a Seahawks fan.
Oh, he's got to be over the moon.
Cloud nine.
Yeah, he's on cloud nine.
And deservedly so. Seahawks fans deserve it. Look, I'm not going to lie to you.
A great fan base.
I want the Rams to win. Absolutely. But upper right corner, Scholastic Shalley, Uncle Shalley, Mr. William Shallcross.
It's been interesting. It's been an interesting 15 minutes, gentlemen. That's all I have to say. Gene, you'll know about this. I'm good. It's one of those things where it's like, I know you'll appreciate this because you live in Northeast Philly. There's proper snow. There's proper snow etiquette when you dig yourself out.
Exactly what you're about to say. Go ahead.
No, I might save it for later. I got to cool down. It's really hot over here right now. I got to cool down. I'm ready for the show.
There is snow etiquette, and I tell you right now. I'll tell you. It drives me up a wall. I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm not going to take. I won't steal his thunder, but don't forget it. And if you got to be kidding me. Use that, bro.
I was about to say. It sounds like he's got something at the end of the show that we actually.
I'm gonna need a couple minutes. I'm gonna need a couple minutes.
I mean, he's right though. I understand exactly that. Nothing drives me more crazy than what you're going to talk about. But I won't spoil it. We got a lot to get into. We got some hot wire, hot pockets. Let's go.
All right, gentlemen. So get right on into it here. This week we've had some news happen between Giannis officially requesting a trade there. Darius Mensah is ultimately going over to Miami, and Bill Belichick is not a first ballot Hall of Famer. And we will get into all of these things here. But first off, I did want to start off with Giannis Antetokounmpo and his trade request. It has come out that he wants to get the hell out of Milwaukee. It feels like the worst kept secret in all of the NBA, but it is official now and it's all out there. And he does want to get moved before the trade deadline next Thursday. So it looks like as well right now that the teams that he would prefer to be traded to would be the New York Knicks or the Miami Heat. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts about Giannis ultimately officially requesting this trade here? Where do you think he ends up, or ultimately, do you think he gets traded at all?
Do you think because he won a championship that he deserves to get traded for I don't want to say pennies on the dollar, but I'll say quarters on the dollar? Does that make sense? What I'm saying? Do you think because he won a chip that they should sell him for lower value than he's worth?
No, absolutely not.
Well, then I don't think he can get moved to the Knicks. I don't mean to say that to be a rude person, but I don't know what assets they'll be able to give. I don't. I think the Knicks is where he wants to go. I just don't know the assets they'll be able to give up. I mean, the package that they're talking about is Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns and some picks. I don't think that's worth Giannis. Am I tripping?
I mean, no, I don't think you are, but I think at the same time, though, when you say because he won them a championship, should it be that their goal to just essentially make him happy? And I think we talked about it last week when we were talking about the Warriors after Jimmy Butler getting hurt with Steph Curry and his situation there. I think with Steph, it would be different. You know, Steph is on the latter half of his career, really the back, more than the back nine. He's on like the back four. He's got about 4 holes left in front of him to go with the rest of his career. Giannis, on the other hand, is really still in his prime, I'd argue. So I think if you're Milwaukee, like, you have to find a way to, you're never going to find a package that is fully going to encompass the true value of what Giannis brings to your organization, but you have to try and get as much, juice out of the squeeze as possible here. So, like, I don't think they can sell any lower than possible. I get that he wants to go to certain places. The nice thing for him is that he only signed a 3-year, super max contract. So you trade him to wherever gives you the best offer, and you let him figure it out and let him hit the open market there. And I wouldn't send him to a team that's horrible, per se. Like, I'd still send him off to a playoff team. But if Minnesota or the Hawks give me a better offer than his destinations of the Heat or the Knicks, then he's got to go play that gives me the best offer.
I agree. I mean, listen, he gets a lot of, probably a lot of rope here because he did win them a championship. He's beloved in that city, obviously. And for all intents and purposes, I mean, he's a great kid. He does everything right. So you honor his trade request. You don't make it, and by doing all that, if you're Milwaukee, you don't make a huge deal of it, as in, like, have leak reports coming out or get petty. But at the same time, if you're Milwaukee, you have to take care of the franchise. You have to do what's best for yourself. We'll gladly try to move you, but we're going to move you who gives us the best deal. If we can make that work, that we think that's feasible in Miami or New York, then maybe we'll do so. We'll try to honor your request. But if not, to Cottrell's point, if Minnesota gives them the best offer, then to Minnesota you go. Like, I think, we talked about this a couple of weeks ago, and G made a good point. I think everybody forgets how bad Milwaukee was for a really long time before Giannis got there. And it's going to be pretty much a hard reset after he leaves. So they have to get something that can help them in the next 2 or 3 years. So they can't just let him go, for pennies, quarters, or whatever. They got to get dollars for dollars here.
And I think the other thing too is that while his preferred destinations are, like I said, the Heat and the Knicks there, apparently Shams reported that the Timberwolves and the Warriors are going to be serious contenders here in terms of trying to put together a package for Giannis. And I just think it's ironic that literally just last week we talked about the Warriors punting on their season this year. Well, you put yourself in the Giannis sweepstakes. I mean, I think that would a combination of Giannis and Steph, I think that would put you back in the mix for even in the West. Like, I think that puts you back in the mix to at least compete for a championship there. So I'm curious to see how aggressive the Timberwolves or how aggressive the Warriors get, for acquiring the services of Giannis.
Bro, I heard a trade the other day, and they were like, because we're in Philadelphia, so they gave like a hypothetical trade, and the trade was, would you trade Paul George, a first-round draft pick, and VJ Edgecombe for Giannis?
I figured that's where you're going.
And I immediately said no, I wouldn't do that.
How long is he signed for?
To me, it doesn't matter.
I just want to ask you a hypothetical. That's all.
Sure.
How long is Giannis signed for?
He signed a 3-year extension. I know that.
All
I
right.
don't know where that goes through, but
all right. Let's just say it's 3 years from now. This year and 2 more.
27, 28.
Okay. If we make that trade, and to your point, I don't make the trade, but if you make that trade and you're guaranteed to win a championship in those next 3 years, do you do it?
Well, I mean, yeah, if you're guaranteed to win a championship, you're not going to be guaranteed to win a championship. The problem with that trade is a lot of reasons. Number one, I'm not trading mini Dwayne Wade when he's 19 years old. I'm not saying the guy's going to be Dwayne Wade, but VJ Edgecombe has every bit of Dwayne Wade written all over him. And I don't think he's going to be as good, but like he can be that like type of player for years. He's 19. That's number one. Number two, this is even more important. If you're not moving Joel Embiid Giannis and Joel Embiid on the same court are absolutely worthless. You got two guys that are going to hog up the same spot on offense. Like, you want to talk about clogging the lane? That's exactly what that would do. It would be a terrible fit. I think it's a terrible trade. I think it's a bad trade. I think that Giannis comes with a lot more problems than people like to, think about, right? They're like, oh, Giannis, he just wants to win. He's competitive. But then you got to bring Alex and Thanasis with you. They got to go sit on your bench and fight people. I don't want him. Is that crazy to say? I don't want him. If you're trading Giannis for Joel Embiid, I would do it.
I don't think it's crazy necessarily to say, but I also think you're talking about Joel Embiid like it's a certainty that he's going to be there on the team or even playing when the playoffs happen. Like, I think absolutely with what you have as a core, if you're centering that team around Giannis and Tyrese Maxey with all the other pieces that you have there, even if you do trade VJ, obviously I think VJ is a nice player and things like that, but like, let's not forget, just because Jared McCain's not playing that much right now, like, doesn't mean the kid is not a really good basketball player. So even if that potentially opens up more playing time for him, I think the opportunity of getting Giannis should absolutely at least intrigue you there. And even if it is just for the 3 years, if he likes Philadelphia and there is a good chemistry with him and Maxey there, I 100% think that's something you can build around. And whether Joel's there or Joel's not there, I don't see it being a problem fit wise, just in the short term sense, because Joel's going to miss games.
Okay, I'm not, once again, not fully against it. I'm just, I don't want to trade. I don't want to trade him. I think VJ Edgecombe has the potential to be Dwayne Wade light, and I said light. I want me to be very clear for anyone listening. I don't think he's going to be a perennial first ballot Hall of Famer like Dwayne Wade was. But like the skill of his game, the on-ball defense, the athleticism, and the fact that he can actually shoot the 3-ball, his game is very similar to what Wade's was. And I'm not, once again, not saying his ceiling will be that high. I'm saying it's a comparable player. I'm not trading that for Giannis. Not. I want to build around Maxey and Edgecombe, not get older and more annoying.
I got you. Just real quick here before we move on to the next topic here. Ultimately, where do you think he ends up?
Knicks.
Bill?
Oof. Can I default and say I don't think he gets traded?
Yeah, I mean, that's
definitely
an option too.
He might not get the trade deadline. It'll be in the offseason. And then I think things change that way. So are you saying you don't think he gets traded by the
Correct.
Trade? Okay.
Correct.
He'll get traded. But if he doesn't get traded by the trade deadline, I guarantee that calf strain keeps him out the rest of the year.
I think he gets. I wouldn't be surprised by that at all, especially because the Bucks aren't even in playoff contention right now. I think he gets. I think he gets traded. I think he goes to Miami. I think they finally give up the pieces. I remember over the summer I forgot who it was they were trying to trade for, but the reports that came out like, they didn't want to get rid of Jaime Jaquez because, they felt like he was a good young core piece. I think they ultimately move on from a lot of those young guys in Miami, and they pair Bam and Giannis and build around Giannis moving forward.
Can you imagine just real quick? I know that you don't want to move off this, but can you imagine being Adrian Griffin right now and looking at this situation? They were 30-13 when he was fired. Let me just reiterate that to you real quick. 30-13. You want to know what Doc Rivers' record as the Bucks head coach is since Adrian Griffin's been fired? Anyone take a guess?
No, what is it?
87-88. He is below 500 as the Bucks head coach.
Well, after Giannis goes, Doc will go.
God,
Doc's going to get fired after this year.
I mean, what else is new?
Facts.
The funny thing is this, right? And we'll talk about it in the NFL, but in the NBA, I cannot believe how many times this guy's gotten opportunities to coach. Whereas in the NFL, if you're a black head coach in the NFL and you get fired, sorry, you probably never get a job again as a head coach. In the NBA, Doc Rivers just coached everywhere he was. There you go.
It's amazing how much championship buys you in the NBA.
I mean, I won't get on my soapbox here.
What? Wait, what you about to say?
There's a black head coach that won a championship that will have a job whenever he wants it in the NFL.
How many teams did he go to and fail at?
I mean, he didn't go anywhere.
Okay, so I get what you're saying. So it's not a comparable. Doc Rivers went from a loaded Celtics team to a loaded Clippers team to a loaded Sixers team to a loaded Milwaukee Bucks team. Mike Tomlin's been at one spot.
And to Doc's credit or lack thereof, he made the playoffs with the Clippers. He made the playoffs with the 76ers. He's made the playoffs with the Bucks.
Control. I can make the playoffs if I coach the Thunder. I can make the playoffs.
I say you could argue he's
made the playoffs every bunch.
But half the league makes the playoffs. That's not an achievement in the NBA. Like he underachieved everywhere he went after Boston.
They throw a banner up when you make the playoffs. Like made the playoffs in 2013.
I mean, that's what they do in the NFL, apparently. You make the playoffs and don't win a game for 9 years, you keep your job.
It's a lot harder to make the playoffs in the NFL than the NBA.
I'd argue it's a lot harder to actually just win a football game, though. I'm just saying, making the playoffs is harder. I'll give you that. But you need to win one. I'm just asking you to win one.
Oh, he got fired, bro. You feel better now?
Absolutely.
Okay.
I'm glad he's out of my division. I'm glad he's gone. Good riddance. I hope he gets a great job. I hope he gets a great job somewhere else, and I'm sure he's going to have a ton of success. He is a top 5 coach in all of the NFL, but that doesn't change the fact that you don't win a playoff game in 10 seasons.
Okay. I'd worry about your head coach.
Oh, I'm worried. We'll get there. I'm worried. Don't you forget it. But before we get there, going to the college football landscape, something that we talked about last week, Darian Minson was getting sued from Duke. Well, they've reached an agreement, and they allowed him to hit the portal and choose whatever team that he would like to go to. And his decision was Miami. Again, the worst kept secret in all of college football at this point. But he will be the starting quarterback next year with the Miami Hurricanes. Gentlemen, are we surprised that Duke we don't know what the details of the settlement were, but are we surprised that Duke essentially let him off the hook here? And then ultimately as well, what do you think his outlook with Miami will be next season?
Duke's soft. Super Charmin baby shit soft. This is like you had the kid by the balls. And again, I'm not saying the goal here is to punish the kid, but at the same time, all you did what?
You said pause.
all you did was take a payout. That's all they did. Miami wrote a check to Duke, and they're like, all right, you can go now because they know you want to be here. We already saw how it played out with Washington. This one was going to kind of be interesting, but like you said, worst kept secret. I know Miami's losing pieces other places, but the basis of that offense is still going to be now Mensa, Fletcher, and Tony. That offense is going to be dynamite. I think it puts them right in the thick of things for the college football playoff again next year. Because if they did not get Mensa in the portal, they were in a lot of trouble. They're two guys next on the depth chart, both hit the portal after the national championship game. They were going to be in a world of hurt there. Duke letting them off the hook, especially for a team that's in conference, is just incomprehensible to me. I would have been like, see me in court. We got a signed contract from the kid. We're not letting you off the hook for a check. And that's exactly what they did. So I hope when Miami plays Duke next year now, I hope Miami throttles them by 50 because that's what they get for letting this happen.
I mean, listen, I said this last week. I'll say it again. I hate when you're a grown adult and people give the excuse that he's a kid. If you're old enough to sign a T-Mobile 2-year contract, and you have to pay an early termination fee if you break that contract early, and you're getting millions of dollars thrown at you, get a lawyer or get somebody that knows what they're doing and take your time and make the right decision. But that doesn't mean you get let off the hook when somebody offered me more now. That's not how that works. Not how it works. So I hate that. I'm not going to say I actively root against Miami because I won't. Kid seems like a really good kid. Like
That's your That's your.
So now he's a
14.
kid again.
Well, he's a kid to me, but he's not a kid.
Okay.
You're a kid to me. You know, like you're like 15 years younger than me. Maybe not 15, but you get my point.
Okay. Yeah.
That's Gene.
You're an
That's
adult,
Gene.
though. You make decisions.
That's Gene's fourth team. He's not going to root against them.
Oh, no, it's not. It's just the team I picked to win the national championship this year. I have severed ties. I have a head coach now in Penn State. I'm a happy camper. I've also announced that I'm done having a second team. Did you not remember that?
I mean,
yeah, I mean,
we hear that all the time.
Well, you know, when did you hear it before?
Penn State was 7-0.
I said I get the team that I pick to win the national championship and Penn State. But
All right, we'll see. We'll see if it changes.
It won't. Campbell years are here.
All right. Well,
and we can cry Sataki tears.
For me, though, ultimately, Darian Mensah's situation, I am stunned that Duke let him off the hook here. You're a conference champion. I mean, granted, they have 5 losses last year, but you're a conference champion. Can't take that away from you. And to your point, Bill, you let him stay in conference. And I think the other part of it that's absolutely wild is think about Miami's path here in the playoff. So they got $20 million from making and going as far as they did with the college football playoff. And most conferences, you have to share the revenue with all of the other teams. Miami got to keep it all. And then on top of that, they got an additional $3 million for making it to the national championship that also went over to Indiana as well. But a lot of that is supposed to go towards travel and expenses to get to the Natty. Well, Miami just got to pocket all of that because they got to play at home. So they essentially used all this money from the successful season that they had and said, hey, Duke, thanks for helping us essentially get into the playoffs because, you know, Virginia didn't get that one of the spots there. Thanks for getting us in. As a repayment, we're going to take your quarterback and just we'll just throw you, you know, a few $1 million. Again, we don't know what the exact number is, but it is absolutely wild that Miami is 100% in the position where they got their cake and they got to eat it too. So I think Mensah is going to have a ton of success there at Miami. I think with that offense, you know, having Fletcher, having Tony, they brought in the top receiver from Duke as well in the portal. The offense is going to be electric. Mensah is going to have an opportunity to be a first-round quarterback next year if he does what I think he has the potential to do. So absolutely great move for him, but I am shocked that Duke let him off the hook here.
Duke has to go to Miami next year too.
Oh, pretty sure.
Well, I'll tell you this, dude. Just looking at their schedule real quick, Cupcake City, baby. Like
Miami.
Oh my God. They have one tough game. They ironically, which is against the other team that schedules cupcakes all the time, Notre Dame. It's the only tough game they have next year. There's no way they don't make the playoff next year.
Well, I have a Darian Mensah autographed pre-script card, so I'll be.
Oh, good. Yeah, they'll cross sell there. That's nice. Is it up yet?
No, I haven't. This site, you're talking about the site?
Yeah.
Oh, it'll be soon. It'll be next 2 weeks. I'm planning to launch it Super Bowl week. We'll be on Whatnot that whole weekend and gonna do our first auctions and bids and got a lot of cool cards. So if you're in the sports cards,
I'm trying to get into the bid, bro.
You're more welcome. I will tease this though, since you said it.
Attaboy.
This card right here. I don't know if you can see it. Is Joe Montana, Peyton Manning, Dan Marino, John Elway on a 4-card auto. 1 of 1. You can bid on that, I feel like. Starting price is $1K.
Well, the cool thing about that card, Gene, is that all 4 of those guys are Hall of Famers. But we're gonna go to somebody that is not a Hall of Famer at this time, and that is Mr. Bill Belichick. After winning 6 Super Bowls, I mean, he felt like a shoo-in to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. The voters came back and he did not receive enough votes. Now, the reports are that Bill Polian led the charge of this, smear campaign with Bill Belichick, saying that he needed to be punished for Deflategate and Spygate. He originally told Sports Illustrated, and this is Polian, he originally told Sports Illustrated that he for sure 100% voted for Bill Belichick to get into the Hall of Fame, and that all of the rumors that were out there were false. But then ESPN interviewed him later, and he essentially backpedaled that claim and said that he could not confirm 100%, and he couldn't remember if he voted for Bill or not. Gentlemen, what are your thoughts about this situation here, and how crazy is it that the greatest head coach of all time is not a first ballot Hall of Famer?
Well, I'm dying to hear Shally's take first, because I have a take that's different than a lot of people. So I'd like to hear Shally's take.
I think the best word for it's probably unfortunate. I think Bill Polian anointing himself the judge and executioner of whatever, I think is a crock of shit, because you're mad that you got smoked. But this goes down like the same road we went down a couple weeks ago with baseball with Carlos Beltran. However you want to slice it. I guess it's a cheating scandal. You're talking about an isolated incident.
Did you just say I guess it's a cheating scandal?
It's just, again, I think you're talking. I'm not comparing it to the Houston thing where it was for 162 games versus 1, but it's still cheating. I'm just saying it's apples and oranges. That's all I'm saying.
You think the one game that they got caught is the only game they ever did it?
They didn't kind of really get caught either, but it's
what?
Bro, this is the gray area. This is where it gets. Having a football 3 psi lower is a lot different than knowing what pitch is coming. That's all I'm going to say. They're drastically different things. But that being said, I think if it was unanimous that everybody that was voting was like, you know what, we're going to not put him first ballot, and we're going to kind of like what baseball does, where 70% of the people don't vote for somebody the first year because they're all on the same page, but that's because that's the way they individually feel. I don't have a problem with that. It's Bill Polian going out campaigning for votes to vote against him. That I have a problem with. If you don't want to vote for him, you have that vote. That's your power. You've earned that vote. Don't vote for him. Don't give me the bullshit that you don't remember either. Stop. You didn't vote for him. And you're only backpedaling it now because everybody that was around for those things is now coming out saying you were, the head kingpin of calling and emailing people, being like, don't vote for Bill. Again, if you don't want to cast your vote for him, you've earned that vote. You decide, you vote for however you want to do. If you feel it's an integrity thing, again, by all means, go vote that way. There's enough evidence there to support your no vote. It's the campaigning and the politicking to think that you're more important than everybody else. And like Cottrell said, it's kind of a smear campaign to go out there and head that to try to stop somebody from getting in, to sway other people's votes. That's my problem with it.
And then, Gene, real quick here before you go and give your take on this, I did just want to add in something else here as well, just because we just got it, looks like about an hour ago. Pro Football Hall of Fame actually issued a statement saying that they may remove members of the selection committee who violated its bylaws. So this is against what the Pro Football Hall of Fame is essentially trying to go forth is in terms of their voting process here. So it looks like it's going to be something that they will be investigating here moving forward to see, what ultimately happened a part of this process here. But just wanted to throw in that bit of information just since they did release a formal statement here about it.
First of all, the formal statement, I get that. I want to be clear. I agree with a lot of what Shally just said. Bill Polian campaigning against him and calling a bunch of people, don't agree with. But I have voted Bill Belichick to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Absolutely would have. Well, what's the Chris Rock skit say? I ain't saying he should have killed her, but I understand. And when you look at the situation with Bill Belichick, I am an advocate for Barry Bonds to be in the Hall of Fame. With or without steroids, he was the greatest baseball player I've ever watched play baseball. Just different. Barry Bonds on steroids is the greatest player you'll ever watch. His stats are video game numbers. But he cheated. And Baseball Hall of Fame held that against him. Now, Bill, the only thing I disagreed with you saying was how you wanted to sweep under the rug the fact that it was 3 PSI less. Are we forgetting Spygate? Is that like not a thing? Because he wasn't accused and convicted of one cheating scandal. It was two of them. Listen, lowering the air in the football so Tom could grip it better, I don't look at that as awful. And I think it was very overblown. I think the Patriots still win a lot of those games with or without the PSI levels lower. Stealing defensive signals, videotaping practices, having guys get caught at the Bengals facility in the press box. The Patriots have gotten caught doing shit for years.
You know, Bill doesn't care about stealing signs.
Yeah, because it's been proven so freaking, so fucking, it's been proven so.
You
so
put it
favorable.
together. I didn't think about it. You put it together for me. I didn't think about that.
I'm just saying, you know, Bill doesn't. I mean, that's nothing. That's chump change.
Yep.
At the end of the day, I would have voted for him, just like I would vote for Barry Bonds. But I'm not going to pretend I don't understand them being like, we're not going to let you be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Cottrell, let me ask you a question real quick. Would you give up a first-round draft pick for Kirk Cousins to be your starting quarterback next year?
Absolutely not.
Why? Get a better quarterback on your roster.
It's not good enough for a first-round pick.
Oh, it's not good enough for a first-round pick. But what Spygate did was so bad that they stripped the Patriots of a first-round draft pick. Fine the coach $500,000, or team $500,000, the coach $250,000. Guys, let's not pretend nothing happened here. And Jory, same thing.
Yep.
Same thing. I would vote for Brady to be a first ballot Hall of Famer, but I understand if someone made him wait a year.
I don't understand any shot in hell that
Brady. Spygate was 100% on Belichick. I think they're both on both. If you don't think Bill Belichick knew that they were deflating the footballs, you don't know how much of a psycho that man is. Bill, how much of a psycho is Belichick?
I mean, listen, I mean, he is, it's one of the things that makes him great, his attention to detail and planning for everything. I mean, you've heard some of the stories now when he was retired before he started coaching at UNC of sitting there in meetings and going over, most coaches go over a scenario of like one or two, like, hey, if they do this, we're gonna do this, and his legendary things like he'd have 6 or 7 scenarios, like he planned for everything.
You're right, and that's the point. So I think that, and this is George. I'm not disagreeing. I'm not disagreeing. I'm just saying most people blame Deflategate primarily on Tom. I wouldn't have done that. Not voting Belichick was 100% out of spite. Yeah, Clayton, you're not wrong. It probably was spiteful. I would have voted for him, but I'm not going to be the only. I'll be the only person up here and tell you that I understand why he wasn't voted first ballot Hall of Fame. I would have voted for him. Still understand.
Yeah, so. I mean, I think that's a fair point. Like, yeah, I don't think it's easy to understand.
Not, yeah, correct.
But like the fact that I think it's funny.
It's the way it went down.
Yeah, correct. I more so think it's the way that it went down. Like, at least baseball, while I still hate their process of it feels like they have these underground meetings about who they're voting in and who they're not going to vote in. We don't ever hear about like, oh, well, I don't know, just one random guy was in a meeting room and he said, hey, we're not going to get Barry Bonds in this time. We're not voting A-Rod in. Like, those guys use steroids. We're going to make them wait, or things like that. Like, the shady stuff happens under the table, and then we just see the aftermath of it. This was reported like almost instantly. It was like you got the update that Bill Belichick wasn't getting in the Hall of Fame, and then like 15 minutes later, it was the news of Bill Polian was in the room telling everybody that they need to just make him wait a year because of Spygate and Deflategate.
Well, it's because all hell broke loose. Everybody, I even saw a couple people were like, "Oh no, it was a fake headline," and I'm like looking at my phone. I'm like, "No, like it's real. Like he's not." And then everybody was like, "I'm covering my ass. Like I'm not. Like this is going to be an issue." Like,
yep, they're like, "I voted for it. Wasn't me.
Yeah,
Don't look at me."
Yeah, this is going to be a sinking ship. I'm not going down with it. Like, and yeah, the fact that Bill Polian, to your point, it wasn't even like, oh, there was a meeting like between people. Every report was like Bill Polian, Bill Polian, Bill Polian, Bill Polian's the guy. Like immediately, like Bill Polian's the guy you want to talk to. Like, I don't. And honestly, dude, I don't think you should be able to vote anymore.
Out of curiosity for you guys, and I know MLB is different, NFL is different, like with their process and things like that. But as a whole, would you guys be in favor if at a point, and I'm not saying it's right away, I'm not saying it's just a direct cause and reaction to this situation happening, but do you think it would be fair for the votes at some point to be made public? And not even necessarily saying that people need to be held accountable, but for certain things, I do think at a point, like they also need to be held accountable. Like people not voting in, like Ken Griffey Jr., for example, is like 100%, first ballot Hall of Famer there. Like the one or two people who didn't do that, like, should they have to answer for that? Like, would you be okay with the vote becomes public?
Yes. I think after everything's announced, I think everybody's vote should be public. And again, I'm not saying you have to justify to me why you didn't vote for Chase Utley, but I need to like I think this year, or next year, I think like Pujols is up on, like, he's a top 5 right-handed hitter of all time. And I promise you, somebody's not going to vote for him. I need somebody to justify that for me. What about his career was not Hall of Fame level that you didn't need, that you figure you didn't need to vote for him? And the bullshit excuse they always give is, well, I know everybody else is going to vote for him, so I wanted to give my vote to somebody else. Well, here's the problem with that line of thinking. That guy way down the ballot that you gave one vote to isn't changing anything for that guy. So if you voted for one guy that nobody else did, that's not changing that guy's life. That guy's still not getting in. He's going to have 2% of the vote, and he's coming off the ballot anyway. So, like, again, like I use the example all the time. Like Griffey's a good one. Jeter, somebody to vote for Jeter. Willie Mays got 85% of the vote, his first ballot. Think about that. 85%. There's 15% of the writers that didn't think Willie Mays was a Hall of Famer. Now, you could probably put some of that because that was still going on back then. But 15%. Well, I can't think of the last guy that didn't get that many votes because of that reason.
I'll bet you the guy that didn't vote for Griffey was white. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
But there was a couple. But again, to think about all the writers, and you debated, and honestly, that is like the heyday of baseball. How many people were voting? 15% of the voters didn't vote for Willie Mays.
That's crazy. Crazy. I do want to mention this point real quick. I had it up on the screen for a minute. Regardless of scandals, we can't talk about 2000s football without mentioning him and Brady as much as I hated. Okay, so I'm going to play that back for you. Regardless of scandals, we can't mention 70s, 80s baseball without mentioning Pete Rose. Regardless of scandals, we can't mention 90s, 2000s baseball without mentioning Barry Bonds. Regardless of scandals, we can't mention 80s or 90s baseballs without mentioning Dwight Gooden or Darryl Strawberry. We mention Darryl Strawberry every year. I think he still gets money on July 1st.
Bobby Bonilla,
sorry. But the point being is,
same difference.
You can't mention football without them, and I think both of them obviously get in. But let's be completely honest.
Now, see, this gets weird to me because I don't think there's a shot in hell that Brady doesn't go in on the first ballot. So
I don't think so either, but I do think that he won't be 100%.
Okay, so let me ask you this though. I mean, granted, I feel like we don't even see the football percentages like what we do with other sports or even care about the percentages there. But I also think with Brady, now that he's on Fox, he works with the Raiders, like he is a part of the NFL still. It almost feels like Bill Belichick had like a spat with the league when he got fired with the Patriots. Like he sat out the 1 year, like he was doing like random shows and spot things, but like he wasn't a major contributor to the game in that year that he was away. And then he ultimately went on to go to college. So like I wonder, does that also play a part that the league feels like, all right, like we gave y'all, not necessarily gave you this, but you were in our league for this long, you won 6 championships. The 1 year that you're not working, you don't even try to give us, some sort of content or really anything for as great as what you were.
I think it more boils down to like that whole argument everybody started having after Tom won the one in Tampa Bay. It was who was more important? Was it Tom or was it Bill? And then you see Tom go win one without him, and now it's and again, I think Tom will buy more good grace in regards to still being involved in the league heavily, but at the same time too, I guess I'll put my tinfoil hat on here. I would say there's probably people that probably got nudged to vote no on Bill, that if they wanted to have their spiteful moment or whatever and punish the Patriots, I don't think they realistically thought they were going to be able to do it with Tom. And I think Bill's probably the easier target to do it. Because, again, I would think Bill's probably rubbed some people the wrong way during the course of his coaching career.
Wow, Bill.
So
Great guy.
I think Tom's more universally liked. And I also think, again, for argument's sake, as we sit here right now, who knows where we are 15 years from now, debatably the best player in the NFL history. I don't think anybody wants to sit there and be the guy that voted no for Tom. And, again, not saying there's anything behind that, but conspiracy theory wise, it kind of makes sense.
Okay. And no matter how you slice it, Belichick not being the first ballot has made them look like fools. I don't know who's on the wire account right now, but I get it. All right, guys, time to move on. A little NFL coaching carousel conversation. We'll talk about the conference championship for after trivia. We got a little bit of a lighter show. We could have a little bit more fun. I told you I was going to bring this point up. I'm going to bring it up. I put it in the chat. I'm going to bring it up.
Can somebody bring out the dead horse?
Yeah, sure. As soon as it stops happening, the dead horse will stop getting beaten. So I right now, officially, 8 of the 10 coaching spots have been filled. 8 of 10. Okay? 8. I'm going to read them out to you. Now, regardless of what you think of these situations, it's just when you hear them out loud, maybe it will make you think a little. The Giants hired a retread coach in John Harbaugh. He's white. John Harbaugh's super qualified. He was definitely going to get a job regardless. If Mike Tomlin wants to get a job, he'll get hired too. So I understand that one. The Steelers hired a retread for the 3rd time in Mike McCarthy, Pittsburgh native. That's why. Yeah, listen, I won't give the Steelers flack because the creators of the Rooney Rule and Art Rooney, Mike Tomlin being their coach there and for 14 years. So cool. You think McCarthy's the best guy for the job? I'll skip over that one. The Ravens hired a new coach, never coached in the NFL before. Not a new coach, but never coached in the NFL as a head coach. New coach, white. Dolphins hired a new coach in the NFL, white. The Titans hired a retread in Robert Saleh, who's not white or black, but he's not white. So I take that as a minority hire. So there we go. It's a win. The Browns hired a new coach. Oh, my God. Underqualified. Todd Monken. We'll get into that in a minute. The Bills hired a new coach. We just promoted offense coordinator, Joe Brady. Okay, fine. White. And the Falcons hired a retread, 2-time coach of the year, Kevin Stefanski, but white. 7 of the 8 hires have been white, with the 9th being the Raiders, and everyone expecting them to be hiring Clint Kubiak, another white coordinator. Do you think it's time to have the conversation of the Rooney Rule not working again? Now, I want to be clear when I say this. 3 weeks ago, somebody in the chat mentioned the fact that, it's bullshit what's going on. And I said, calm down. Let's see how it plays out. Obviously, he hasn't heard me talk about this for years because, like Shally says, it's like beating a dead horse because I bring it up every single year. So he doesn't know that, and that's okay. And I kind of got annoyed with him in the chat, but in reality, he's right what he said. I really had faith. I had faith in the Steelers organization. I had faith in the Ravens organization. I had faith in the Raiders organization with Tom Brady being at the helm, not just the guy that has a really bad bowl cut. I don't get how retreads happen so often in the NFL that are white, but retreads that are black almost never happen. Now, granted, Raheem Morris got his second opportunity and he squandered it away. So we have to bring that up, okay? It's up, it's here, it's gone. Do you think that there's a serious hiring problem in the NFL for black head coaches?
I think that it's tough to say like definitively because like the answer is yes, but it's not just for me. It's not just no pun intended. It's not just black and white. I think there's more. I think there's more nuances there to it. Because like I look at the way the game is going right now. Especially it feels like everyone is starting to gear towards offense. And it feels like everyone wants to, not everyone, but it feels like the game is moving towards trying to find the new Kyle Shanahan or try to find the new Sean McVay and, things like that. So I think that people like Brian Flores, for example, like he's the one that we always talk about on this show. I 100% believe that he is a top 32 coach in all of the NFL. There's no doubt in my mind that he deserves a job and an opportunity to be at that level. Now, I think another part of the problem, though, is that when we talk about these top offensive-minded guys in the league, and again, it just feels like that's where the league is going. Obviously, the Dolphins didn't make that choice in Halfley, but just feels like that's the way that the league is ultimately going there. How many of those are minorities that come to mind? I know the Rams passing game coordinator is one, like he had been interviewed a lot throughout this cycle there, but like just for you guys, like off the top of your head, like how many ultimately come to mind there for you that kind of like fit that bill outside of like the ones that aren't, I don't want to call them retreads, but like perfect comment here from T3&D, like not Raheem Morris or Flores, Todd Bowles, Eric Bieniemy, Leslie Frazier, like things like that. Like Bieniemy never getting a job. Now he's going to go be the Chiefs OC again. I thought at a time like he should have been a head coach and should have been considered for head coaching positions. Never ultimately happened. Maybe after this stint he does, but like for you guys, like who comes to mind that you feel like got, I don't want to say gypped, but like who's being held back in this situation here?
Well, I've said this before on the show, but I'll say it again. Jim Caldwell is a very good coach, and he was a very good coach. Leslie Frazier has been a great coordinator in the league for years. Byron Leftwich, who was an offensive coordinator for Tom Brady, can't even get an interview, but Phil Rivers is interviewing for a head coaching job. Jeff Saturday for 3 weeks was a head coach, and there's so many black coaches that are on the sidelines. Guys, it's not, I understand what you're saying, but like the narrative around these coaches being hired is very little. When you have Eric Bieniemy was a perfect example for years.
For sure.
Oh, he interviews poorly. Oh, okay. He interviews poorly. Okay. He goes to the Bears and they have two mid running backs at best, and they run through the roof with Swift and Monangai. Monangai was a 7th round pick out of Rutgers. Like the Chiefs couldn't wait to get rid of Matt Nagy to bring Eric Bieniemy in to be their OC. Couldn't wait to do it. I get it. I just think that the narrative around these hot coordinators is exactly what that is. It's a narrative.
For
you
sure.
Look at Brian Flores, you said top 32. I'll make an even darker statement. I think he's a top 5 coach in the NFL. And I don't want to mention second chances for him because he doesn't need a second chance. He needs a real chance. And that's the bullshit behind it because he went to Miami and everyone wants to forget what Miami did when Brian Flores got there. They traded everyone. Everyone. They traded Minka Fitzpatrick a week before the season started for a first-round draft pick. They were predicted to lose 59-0 to the bye week. And they won 6 games. Then next year they made the playoffs. And guess what? He was very active and very open about not wanting Tua to be his quarterback. I'll take Justin Herbert. I'll take Deshaun Watson. Deshaun Watson might not have worked out the way he wanted it to based off what happened. But he wanted Justin Herbert. He wanted Deshaun Watson. He did not want Tua. Then they kind of made the decision to, there's no longer starting Ryan Fitzpatrick. So you're going to start Tua now. That's it. They're winning. They were 5-3. It's not about whether he deserves an opportunity again. It's about the reason he's being blackballed. Is because Stephen Ross invited me into a meeting that was illegally done that I didn't want to get in trouble for. So I didn't go. And then fired me because I didn't do something illegal for him. Cottrell, if I asked you to steal a cell phone and you said no and I fired you for it, wouldn't that be a lawsuit?
Yeah, that would be wild.
That is the equivalent of what happened.
Well, let's not forget though, Brian Flores did have the lawsuit, and it got settled behind closed doors there as well. So we know that there was the shadiness that happened. I'm just saying we know the shadiness that happened behind the scenes. Like they essentially admitted that by going through that, and I think Flores is the perfect example here. But I also think that this specific, it's crazy every time that Flores gets passed up. Like that's never gonna ever be okay for me. But like, I just think, for example, like this specific cycle with Harbaugh not being a head coach anymore, with some of the guys that got fired, like Kevin Stefanski, as much as I wanted him out of Cleveland, like he is a 2-time coach of the year. So like, I can understand some of the hires there is all I'm kind of getting at with this specific cycle, because we had so many job openings that weren't necessarily expected to be open at this point.
But see, the problem is this. I want you to think back, okay? And I want you to think back to Anthony Lynn. And I want to ask you a question.
Yeah.
When was the last time a coach was fired after, think about this, the last time a coach was fired after their quarterback that they just drafted in the top 10 won Offensive Rookie of the Year? When was the last time that's ever happened?
Anthony Lynn one is wild, still to this day.
But Jim Caldwell was fired after winning 12 games in Detroit. That's not enough. It's not enough. This shit is crazy.
I've said it before, and I'll say it again. I don't know how you want to tweak the rule. My issue really isn't with the rule. I think the rule is legit, and I think the rule is designed to do the right thing. I think it's the implementation and the execution of the rule, and nobody checking on the rule is my problem. Like, to your point, I don't care who you bring into your complex. When you're doing it just to check a box and there's nobody there and everybody knows in the building that, hey, you're bringing in so-and-so black coach, and everybody in the building knows you're not hiring him. But once he's in there and he has the conversation and you take him out to lunch and everything else, and you can check that box, then you go hire who you want. I've said before, I think the NFL needs to hire an independent counsel that has to sit in on all these interviews. And I think there has to be consistency. I think everything needs to be more on the up and up, because I still think it's too easy for these teams to just check the box after they have a bullshit interview. And that is where I think this is failing. I think this year, Listen, I'm shocked that Flores didn't get hired this year. I really did think this was going to be the year. But that being said, this year was a little bit weird. I think Gene, the way Gene opened it up, it was pretty much 100% spot on across the board. Harbaugh, you knew was going to get a job if he wanted one. I can't fault Buffalo for promoting Joe Brady because I'm sure Josh Allen had some say in that. Jesse Mitchell going to Baltimore, even though that's where he's from. I think Baltimore was obviously one of the places we thought for sure Flores could fall. Just with the kind of how that franchise is run. But at the same time, I would say, if you're looking at how franchises are run, that franchise for the most part is pretty much on the up and up. So I feel like if they really wanted Flores, they would have hired him. Cleveland, I don't know about that one. I'll let Cottrell speak to that. That's more one of the head scratchers.
But how many? I think that's the perfect. That's like the perfect little question there, though. How many of these jobs were truly head scratchers at this point?
That's what I'm saying. I think this year. That's what I mean. I think this year is kind of weird, as in where I still think we're right, but I think some of these do make sense, and you can kind of cross them off the board. And to the same point, like we just talked about it, like he wasn't going back to Miami, so you could take that one right off the board. I think Pittsburgh, we all thought there was a shot he ended up there. And I don't know. I don't think he had interest in all these jobs either. Like I wouldn't want the Vegas job. Like, you know what I mean? So like, to your point, it still boils down to the fact that he's a great black coach and he still had limited opportunities to get hired. So I just don't think anybody can. If you're in the NFL office, I don't know how anybody could stand up confidently and say that it's working.
Yeah, I did the two that, and I agree, Kyle. McCarthy and Monken are the two that stand out the most. But
Monken for sure stands out, and I'm not a McCarthy fan either. But at least with McCarthy, he didn't deserve another chance. I mean, after seeing what happened in Dallas, but you could say, oh well, at a point he won a Super Bowl, he has a 600 or so win percentage. I can at least somewhat understand it. And plus, Pittsburgh is one of those cities where, I mean, again, the originator of the Rooney Rule. So you just kind of feel like Pittsburgh's doing things the right way in their building. Correct. So if that's the case where McCarthy and Monken are the only two that you're looking at, then you're really just looking at Cleveland kind of sideways and their hire of Todd Monken. But
I think everybody's looking at Cleveland sideways.
Oh, absolutely, with the hire of Monken. But at the same time, looking at how they went through this process, they didn't fulfill the Rooney Rule up until Monday. Monday was the first day that they actually fulfilled the Rooney Rule. And they could have gone and just interviewed just a random black head coach to do it, but they were waiting specifically for Rams passing game coordinator because they didn't want to just fill a quota. So I feel like, although I don't agree with the hire, I think Cleveland went about the process the right way because they didn't want to just check a box. They wanted to bring in guys that they wanted to actually hire.
If they were going to hire a defensive guy, they would have hired Schwartz. I get it. I hope Schwartz stays there. I know there's talk whether or not he's going to stay or not because he feels like he's upset he didn't get the job, which makes sense. But I don't agree with the hire of Monken. But that's what I mean, though. When was the last time you seen an emerging black candidate come out of nowhere to be a head coach? Shane Steichen was obvious, but when you look at Nick Sirianni, I'm not gonna lie to you guys, I didn't even know who the fuck he was. And I know a lot of football. Did you know who Nick Sirianni was before the Eagles hired him?
No.
I watch a lot of football. Nick Sirianni's just one of the many. Doug Peterson got it. Both of them won Super Bowl, so you can't really argue it. But Doug Peterson got a head coaching job over Eric Bieniemy. It's crazy to think about.
It is, and again, the process is definitely flawed. and I don't think there's any concern regarding that. And I think the NFL is doing a good job, not with the Rooney Rule in general, but they do have a program. Not sure, how many people are aware of it. They do have a program, like a minority coaching program, where essentially, regardless of what level you're at, like you could be a Division 1 head coach, you could be an assistant coach, whatever the case may be, but they have you work with these teams in like it's almost like an internship essentially to try and like build those connections and get your foot in the door and things like that. So I think the NFL as a whole, and they could be doing that just to kind of save face. But I think the idea behind things are good. They just need a better course of action to, implement some of these things that make sense there. Because to your point about like Jim Harbaugh, like let's use him for John Harbaugh. Let's use him for an example. The Giants really didn't need to fulfill the Rooney Rule. If Jim Harbaugh says he's coaching there, that's what it's going to be. You're going to just have the BS, diversity interview, minority interview, and you're never going to seriously consider him. Like, I think that's where the rule kind of feels disingenuous because you don't necessarily have due process in some of these interviews. So I don't know the perfect way to change it, but I think an advisory board to sit in on interviews definitely would help. But sometimes you just know who your guy is. Like Buffalo, same kind of deal. Like I feel like they knew they were going to hire Joe Brady right away. Like they interviewed a bunch of people. Joe Brady was going to be their guy.
But again, I think every cycle, to your point, I think there's always a couple of those. Again, like nobody is batting an eye at the Giants hiring Harbaugh. You know what I mean? Like nobody's like,
Right.
oh, like that's fine. So like just wipe that one off. Like again, Stefanski, I don't think anybody's batting an eye at that. So it's not those. It's all the, like again to your point. Like I think it's Cleveland hiring Monken. I mean, we'll see who the hell the Raiders end up hiring. But like,
let me give you an example though, Bill. Jesse Minter is a guy that we all like on the show, like, or we all kind of pick to be Baltimore. But if you were going to hire a defensive coordinator in the league, why Jesse Minter over Brian Flores? Do you think he interviewed better?
Well, he started there. You have to remember that. Like he's from that organization. I'm not saying that makes him a better coach than Brian Flores, but what I'm saying is I think you put him in the building, the Baltimore Raven way. Like that's again like no different than like McCarthy going to Pittsburgh. Like if they felt more comfortable with that, they're both defensive guys.
It was essentially going to be running the same system as what Mike McDonald ran while he was there.
Correct.
That's a ton of success in Seattle.
Listen, I mean, again, like you look at how that all happened. McDonald went to Michigan, left, got the head coaching job. Minter went to Michigan, picked right up, left there, went with Harbaugh. Now he's back at Baltimore after the other Harbaugh left. So that's a pipeline thing. And again, I agree with you on Baltimore because that's where I thought Flores was going to end. I thought, if we're all being honest, like I know Minter's name was mentioned with it a lot. I thought they would hire Flores and get him a good OC. I thought it was a perfect fit for him. But I think they hired the same type of guy in Jesse. I at least understand. Now, if Jesse had no connection to Baltimore whatsoever, that would be a head scratcher to me because then I think you have to look at it and be like, I don't know how you're weighing this. But I think, again, Baltimore is one of those very well-run organizations with a very good front office with Ozzie and all those guys. I don't think Ozzie is, especially, I mean, and Ozzie being black, I don't think he is slighting anybody, especially a Brian Flores, if they didn't think Jesse was really the guy.
All right, we got to move. Let's get to trivia, and we'll talk about the conference championship games. Guys, I'm the trivia master today.
Trivia master.
Are
we doing landmines again?
A fun, quick one. No. Fun, quick one.
It's be over in 7 seconds.
No, probably won't. You guys got to think a little bit. Once you kind of get the drift, though, you should knock a couple down. The top being that we are walking into the Super Bowl, the top 10 receiving yard leaders in Super Bowl history career. So, Bill, you won last week. You get to go first. Give me your first pick.
I feel like Jerry has to be on this list, so I'll go Jerry Rice.
Number one by a million. 589 yards. He's number 1.
All right. Well, by a million. I mean, that's ultimately where I want it to go. But
It's about 200 yards off from number 2, and 589 being 226 yards higher than number 2. It's significant.
I'll go with the guy that's played in 5, and he doesn't necessarily perform well in all of them, but I feel like over time they've had to accumulate. I'll go with Travis Kelce.
Number 2, Travis Kelce.
Damn it. Give me. God, I'm trying to think who Page. I'll go Gronk.
That's number 3, Rob Gronkowski. You got him in order so far. I'd be very shocked if someone got number 4 in order. I think it's the hardest name on the list, maybe second hardest. We'll see.
Okay.
I feel like after those 3, they start getting a little tougher.
All right, let's try and think here. That one went there. I think he went 3 times, if my math is right here. I'll go with Hines Ward.
Ooh.
Hines Ward is not on the list. Not top 12. Oh, it's actually number 12. But he's not on the list.
Here we go.
Rally.
I will go. See, I'm doing the same thing. I'm trying to think who went to a bunch of Super Bowls. Give me the number 1 cocaine hurricane fan. Give me Michael Irvin.
Number 10.
Sheesh.
256 yards.
Oh,
Who's going to a lot of Super Bowls?
One, 2, 3, and 10. 4 biggest names on the list already named.
4 biggest names?
Yes.
Wow. Okay. I'm
gonna put a timer on you.
Okay. I got a couple that I'm thinking about. All right. I'm gonna just throw them out there. I'll go with Edelman.
Edelnut, number 5.
He's
Edelnut.
Edelnut. Edelman was 5. He had that one game. He had a huge game. Michael Irvin was at 10. You said it was how much? 200. How many yards?
6 yards.
Give me. I mean, Jesus, they went to 4 in a row. Give me Andre Reed.
Andre Reed is number 6. I love that pick. Andre Reed was one of the first names I thought of when I seen this list. The Buffalo Bills number 1 wide receiver for Jim Kelly was Andre Reed, and then his number 2 wide receiver.
Whoa.
Well, he's not on the list. Well, I kind of gave that away. I shouldn't have did that. That's what I wasn't intentionally doing that. I just wanted to talk about Don Beebe for a minute, but he's not on the list. There you go.
Don Beebe.
Okay. I'm really trying to go through who dominated. These names all have to really be somewhat recent. Somewhat recent. It gotta be. Let's see here.
Timer.
I will go with Dwight Clark.
No, Dwight Clark is on the list.
going to go back to the Patriot well here because I think this guy actually won MVP of a Super Bowl. And he was kind of always on the team. So I think over accumulation, he might be on the list. Going with Deion Branch.
Number 7. Already wrote your name on it after you said that. MVP of Super Bowl in the early 2000s. That's your 5th, Chow. The next 3 I would consider the hardest 3.
Great.
2 of them are not, not when we were all born. They were Super Bowl era, obviously, but not when we were all born. One of them is gettable and of the same mindset of the one you just gave.
One of them is gettable and of the same mindset you just gave.
I know you guys aren't looking at the chat, but I'll tell you right now, Kyle Edwards is killing it. He's not a guy I think would be Googling him either. He's just killing it. Timer. We got to move. Give me a guess, Kitro.
I think I got it.
I don't. I'll go. You said the hardest, so I know he's not on the list here, but I'll go with Tyreek Hill.
I think there's probably. I'm gonna go with it after my gut after you said it because this little white head popped into my mind. I can't believe there's that. If this is right, there's that many Patriots on the list, though. I'm gonna go with Amendola.
Danny Amendola is number 8. Number 11 is also Wes Welker.
Jesus.
Oh shit! Wes Welker should have been a.
The 2 you guys missed are 70s Steelers receivers. Lynn Swan.
Lynn Swan. God.
And who was the other one?
Stallworth.
I could have got Lynn Swan. Stupid.
Wes Welker should have been an easy one.
I gave you compliments right away. I mean, Stallworth, Swan, and Pearson. No Pearson. Tariq.
Stallworth.
Taylor. Julian Edelman. I like Jillian, his wife. Michael Irvin. Edelnut. Lynn Swan right away. I didn't make Megatron's never played in the Super Bowl.
No.
Gronk, Moss. I mean, the chat killed it.
So they have 5. They've half the list.
The Patriots had
Gronk,
Edelnut, Deion Branch, and Danny Amendola. And then
Wes Welker.
He was
Oh, I thought Welker was on it. Oh, okay.
Welker was 11.
Then
great. 12. Fun list. Fun. Let's break down conference championship games, boys.
Edelnuts.
I'm gonna make a statement out loud, and after a statement, you guys can agree, disagree, or whatever. For years, I've been against dome stadiums in cold weather places. I think cold weather and snow and the elements bring something to the game that I've always loved and enjoyed. When I was 14 years old, as soon as it snowed, me and my friends would find the park and we would play football, tackle football in the snow. It was awesome. And you always, I don't know why, anytime it snowed, that was when we would get a football game up. I love normally when the elements are in play in a football game. That Broncos-Patriots game was literally the worst football game I've watched in a long time. And I don't want to blame
the
Patriots or the Broncos or Bo Nix or the coaching. And I don't think the defense was the catalyst of this. I think it was really the elements. And after watching that game, I am a huge advocate of most places getting retractable domes. Because that wasn't football to me. When you have a quarterback go to hand the football off to a running back, the running back slips, and then the quarterback realizes that the running back fell down, and he turns around and he slips. I don't know, man. Like, it didn't feel like fun football. It was ugly. It looked like 1960s football.
Okay, but let's talk about the other half of that, though. It looked like that before it snowed.
It didn't look
you
like
had
that.
you had 10-7 football game with it was like what, like 7-8 minutes left in third quarters when it really started to snow. Like you weren't getting a ton of action in that first half anyway. Like the Stidham had the nice
93% of
first drive.
Broncos yards. 93% of Broncos yards were in the first half.
Okay, and how many yards was that in the first half? And a lot of it was the first drive. Like let's talk about what it was after the first
second
drive
too.
And they got stopped on the fourth down. I don't know why they didn't take the points there with the backup quarterback. That just is a terrible idea.
Lock in a 10-0 lead and make them chase, but they didn't do that.
I think the circumstances had more to do with it than the weather. And I don't. True. And again, I think if you're Denver, and you get home field advantage, that's why you want it. Like you want to go to Denver in January, and you're going to play. It's either at least
and weather.
At the very least, it's going to be cold as hell, and you're in altitude. And yeah, you're in the Rockies. It might snow in January. I think this game was played differently than it would have been if Bo Nix was healthy. I think once Vrabel got up, he was very conscious of just not making a big mistake, not having something crazy happen to your point, have a ball bounce off somebody to Surtain and have a pick six or something. It was, we're just going to run out the clock and get semi-aggressive, maybe in a spot here or there, and we're just going to make Denver score again. And they couldn't because they had a backup quarterback. I think that game looks different if Bo Nix is playing. I think New England would have had to play more, obviously.
And then I ultimately think too, like we literally saw it last year when the Rams played the Eagles. I'm not saying it was the exact same conditions. Obviously, you guys aren't at altitude there, but the Snow Bowl with that game, like that game was still entertaining to watch. And it came down to the end. Stafford was driving down the field, and they didn't not convert on fourth down in that game because of the weather. The Eagles just played better defense. So I think, yes, of course, the element plays a part into it about how aggressive you want to be and things like that. But at the same time, let's call it what it is. That Broncos offense with Jarrett Stidham wasn't, a juggernaut by any sense of the words. And let's also call like it is on the flip side. The Patriots offense this postseason has been mid at best, all three games. Their defense has been absolutely incredible. And Drake May has not looked anything like the regular season MVP candidate that, we all think that he played like throughout the regular season there. So
he did play 3 top 10 passing defenses in the NFL. Wasn't like he's playing slouches. He played Denver, Houston, in the Chargers, who were ranked 3, 5, and 8 in passing.
Which is fine, but he's going to finish second in MVP. I'm just saying, you would expect him to have somewhat of a better football game. And it's not a knock on him. I'm just saying, as a whole, the Patriots offense has not been clicking like how we saw, them click in the regular season, not even just against the bad teams. We saw him play really well against the Bills. It's not necessarily just a knock on Drake. I'm just saying the Patriots offense as a whole has not figured it out. And we all say playoff football is different. We all say it's different being in there, especially for your first time. This is Drake's first playoff experience, and he's got his team all the way to the Super Bowl. So you give him a ton of credit there. I'm just saying the reality of it is that Broncos offense without Bo Nix, their starting quarterback, and then a Patriots offense that's been struggling throughout the entirety of the playoffs. I don't think it's crazy we saw that kind of result, especially given that you had, bad weather slid into there as well.
It just wasn't a fun game to watch. I watch a lot of football, and that was one of those games where I was just like, oh.
I'll tell you this, with those same conditions, Seahawks-Rams doesn't look like that.
Maybe. I just know that Seahawks-Rams was a great football game. As much as I hated that the Rams lost that game because I wanted Rams-Patriots Super Bowl, I thought that'd be the most fun thing to watch. I can give Seattle credit. They played their asses off. And every time LA matched or made a big play to get it within one score, they even were the opportunity to win the football game or at least take the lead with 4 minutes left. And Seattle stopped them all 4 downs. 4th and goal. Got to give the Seahawks their credit. They are the favorite in the Super Bowl for good reason. Drake May is going to take on another top 10 passing defense. So we'll see how that plays out for them. But Patriots, Seahawks, Super Bowl, a rematch of the Marshawn Lynch. Should we have handed it off? Yes, of course we should have. Is going to be replayed 12 years later. I'm fired up. I'm looking forward to a good Super Bowl. I think the only bad Super Bowl you could have ran into would be Broncos versus anyone without their quarterback, obviously. But I think it'll be a good, fun Super Bowl. I just hated watching that first game. The second game, by the way, was a classic, and it was perfect. Like, that appetizer was bad appetizer. They left the mozzarella sticks in a little bit too long.
Oh, party foul.
Right? But the second game made up for it. The wings were tender. They were cooked well. The seasoned perfectly. The hot sauce, just a perfect amount. Rams, Seahawks. Your thoughts?
Well, before we get there, Jen, I got a personal question for you. Just real quick. Are you more of a ranch or a blue cheese guy?
I'm a neither. I don't like white stuff.
Jesus.
Oh.
Okay.
Pause.
Yeah. Yeah. So about the game.
Racist.
Maybe.
I thought no. I definitely thought the
Yeah,
game was
I think if anybody knows me, they might take that comment more than one way.
It's true. It's very true.
It's true. By the way, I seen someone comment earlier and asking this. I thought this was funny. I didn't want to pull it up then because I felt like it was one of those things where I'd be like tooting my own horn. But he said, "Forgive my ignorance, Gene, but are you that into equality in the NFL?" I'm asking because I remember you saying something. It referenced this topic before. Good for you. Yeah, man. I've talked about that like a million times.
Yeah. I mean, it's been a theme on the show at this time of the year since we started. Yeah.
Do you agree with McVay and the Rams for going for on fourth down? Absolutely.
How else you gonna do? Yeah. What are we doing, Kyle?
No, they talked about this on the ball. Their thought process was if they kick a field goal, they could kick another field goal and win the game. But they never got the ball back. I mean, they ended up getting the ball back with like 20 seconds left, but they only would have needed to get in field goal range versus scoring a touchdown. But I don't agree with that at all. I think taking the points there would have been a mistake. I think you got to execute and win the game.
I think it's also different too. Go ahead, Bill.
I say more often than not that strategy doesn't work. Again, if you're that close that you can score a touchdown, your best play versus their best play, and see who executes better. I mean, it's not. And I would also look at it if that's what you think at that point. I'll still rather take my chance of not scoring there on fourth down and having them pinned down there and try to get the ball back, like you said. Like if I can get a 3 and out, I'll still get the ball back in better field position than I would the other way. I know I need a touchdown still at that point, but I still think it works out more in your favor that way than it does kicking the field goal.
And I think the other part of it too is you got to look at the flow of that game. I mean, you had 4 straight touchdowns happen between both of the teams.
Yeah.
So, you feel like the offense is humming and defense isn't stopping anybody. So I would 100% trust my MVP quarterback to get I think it was 7-8 yards at the time to score the touchdown there. So you have to trust your guy to make that play there. And like you said, they didn't even end up getting the ball back till it was 20 seconds left in the game there. So regardless, you got to get a stop, whether it's to get the ball back to put up more points or get a stop to win the football game. And I think that it was 100% the right move, especially with how the game was going. Now, had it been 16-13 or 13-10 or 14-10 or something like that, then I think we're having a different discussion. But with everybody, all the fireworks going off in that game, I think you have to go there.
100%. I will ask this question though, and this was something that I don't think people made enough of the big goof that Sean McVay made. And I've not seen it talked about on any TV shows. Maybe I missed it. Guys, Sean McVay made one of the biggest mistakes a head coach can make in modern history. And it's almost as bad as not running the football with Marshawn Lynch on the goal line.
Yeah.
It's really bad. Do you know exactly what I'm talking about, Control?
I'd imagine you're talking about the challenge.
Yes. So what
Or
McVay
lack
did, if you
thereof.
don't know, and I'll be honest with you, I think they win the challenge. Cup doesn't survive the ground. I don't think he gets the first down. I didn't think it was a catch. Like a million reasons. I think that play was ruled incorrectly. Regardless, McVay calls a timeout and then goes, well, if I challenge, does that cost me another timeout? And the official, you can see him asking the official goes, yeah, it's going to cost you your last timeout. And you can see him frustrated. All he had to do was throw the challenge flag. It would have worked as a timeout anyway. And he just didn't do it. And then at that point, he's getting information from upstairs being like, yeah, I don't think they can overturn it, which I don't know if you can overturn it based on the ruling. If I was ruling it live, I would have ruled it incomplete. But I don't think he survived the ground, and I don't think he reached the first down.
I don't think he reached the first down. I do kind of tend to believe that he survived the ground per se there, but I just don't know what his thinking was in that moment.
Football move before he fell.
Yes, that's ultimately what I think there. But I don't think he made it though. Like I thought he was short. Thought the knee was down before he ultimately got there. But I'm curious of what the thinking was there. Because regardless of if you wanted to give yourself more time to think about it, why are you calling timeout? Like at that point, like it's late in the game. You don't need to save the challenge. If you're already thinking that you might call timeout there, just throw a challenge flag. Like that shouldn't even be a thought in your mind at that point. Because if you lose it, it's no detriment to you, even if you lose at that point.
It had to be a brain fart.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine that's what it was, and I'm curious if any local media asked him about that after the game. I didn't. To your point, I haven't seen it talked about at all, but I just know that they essentially asked him, "Hey, what happened there?" And he said, I tried to challenge it afterwards. They said I lose timeout, so ultimately said never mind. But I didn't see what the reasoning, or if he ever had a reasoning behind how that all went down.
Yeah. Good football game, though, Shao. What do you think about that play? Obviously, even if it stands, the timeout's the same thing. I don't.
Right. I mean, yeah. I don't disagree with either one of you. I mean, you throw the red flag out there, they're going to stop the game. In worst case scenario, you're still getting everybody to rest for a little bit, and you come over and have a discussion with the referees, and then go from there. But it's again. I mean, I think brain fart's probably a good word for it, and something kind of out of characteristic from McVay. So I thought it was a great game, though. I think that you look at those teams and you got everything out of both of them that you thought you were going to. Obviously, somebody has to win, somebody has to lose. Great, second half especially. Great back and forth game. I mean, that's what you expect out of two teams that have made it that far. So I feel like after you watch the first game, I feel like if you're one of those conspiracy people, you knew you were getting that out of the second game. I probably would have hammered the over, but it was a good game. Congratulations to Seattle. Mike McDonald, obviously love him. I'll be rooting for him against New England, but I think it's going to be an intriguing Super Bowl. I do.
I think it'd be a great Super Bowl. I did my early indication. We'll give our picks next week. But my early indication was Seattle. I've done a lot of homework, a lot of research on the football game. So I'll give you a full breakdown next week. When we talk about it more, we do our full Super Bowl show. This is just a recap of the NFC and AFC championship game. And we have a lot more to get into. We got some UFC action that just happened. Cottrell, anything else you want to bring up NFL-wise?
No.
Shally, anything else you want to talk about NFL-wise?
No. Again, I think we're next week is pretty much a super duper deep dive on the Super Bowl. So
let's talk about this UFC card. I'm a little fired up from the card. I will say them having back-to-back weeks of numbered cards is a mistake, if I'm being completely transparent with you. I think it's a terrible card this week, but we'll go over it. Let's talk about the card that happened last week, though. And it was a great card. I don't know how you could watch that card and not be excited after watching it. The Sean O'Malley Song Yadong fight was very, very good. You got a knockout in the Cortez Acosta versus Derek Lewis fight. Rose fought her ass off. I thought she ultimately might have won the. No, I don't agree. I had a 2-1 Natalia, but the Gene Silva Arnold Allen fight was very good. And then the last fight of the night, Patty Pimblett versus Justin Gaethje, was a classic. Cottrell, where do you want to start first on this card?
I mean, just real quick here. I'll start with the Rose one, just to kind of get it out of the way there. To me, I felt like Rose, especially third round, I thought it was 1-3, I believe it was, for Rose. I thought Silva, it was definitely a close fight. Like, I'm not necessarily surprised that it, ultimately went that way, but I thought Thug Rose was going to get the benefit of the doubt in that specific fight there. For some of these other fights, really impressed with what I saw from Sean O'Malley in that fight against Song Yadong, because that's not a style that you normally see him win in. You normally see him try to go for the flashy knockouts and things like that, but he was very, masterful in being a technician against Song. He was buying his time on the outside and, just going in when he had the opportunities to, but just also being careful and making sure he didn't get caught at a time or anything like that. And Song was game for that kind of fight there. So I was really impressed what I saw from O'Malley there. And I'm very curious of what's going to happen next with him, especially now that Merab's no longer champion. I know a lot of people think Peter Yan won the first fight against O'Malley, and I 100% understand where you're coming from with that, but the fight was close nonetheless, and I think he has ample opportunity to beat a Peter Yan as opposed to Merab there. So curious to see where the UFC ultimately decides to go. If they give Merab another shot, do they just throw Sean in as like that number one contender after winning this fight here? And then as for the main event of the evening, ultimately for me, I mean, you can't say enough about Justin Gaethje's resilience as a whole. That fight, it really felt like all or nothing. Like, it almost felt like a retirement fight. Like, if he lost it, he might have had to put the gloves down, not because he's no longer elite, but he's just not in that title contention. And similar to what we saw Dustin Poirier last year, just kind of taking fights just to take them and, fighting for the love of the game. But he went out there, he put it to Patty Pimblett, and you give Patty a ton of credit for being as tough as he was, because he was getting hit and hit often in that fight. But Justin Gaethje is now next in line here to face off against Ilya, and I think Patty showed me that he has the heart of a champion. He just has to still fine tune stuff. He's still young. He's still going to have ample opportunity to go win the belt. But right now, Justin Gaethje is on his last dance, if you will, and he's going to get a shot to go to unify the belt against Ilya.
That's not a fun fight to walk into, and I will underestimate him. I will 100% underestimate him. So, yeah, that's not a fun fight to walk into. I think that's the best fighter in the world right there in Ilya. Charlie, did you get a chance to see the card?
I did. I had Paramount, and obviously, I got to see a little bit of or most of Rose's fight. She was definitely robbed. I can't believe they did that, poor lady. And then I got to see all of Sean O'Malley and obviously the title fight. I thought Sean looked good. Again, I think he is in a spot where he can still get a little bit better and fine tune things, but he's one of those guys that's just going to be a constant now. He's not going anywhere. Big win for him. He wants to get back in the title picture. I don't think that's far off. Gaethje, I just had a gut feeling, and that's why I picked him. And I thought that's kind of what it was. Like I said, I don't think he necessarily would have had to retire, like Cottrell said. But I think this, I said it on last week's show. I thought that fight against Patty was kind of his last stand. Like, if he lost it, he'd probably have a couple of money fights here and there and whatever. But as far as being in the title picture and getting a legit title shot, I think that would have been it if he lost. Hell of a fight from him. Stayed aggressive, all 5 rounds. Patty took a beating, man. Got to give that kid credit. But again, we say it all the time, and there's levels to it, and Patty is definitely going to get there. I think everybody would agree with that. But like Cottrell said, I think there's, if he's being honest, he'll go back and rewatch that fight, and there'll be stuff that he can learn from that fight. And I think he'll fix some things, adjust some things, and he's not going anywhere. He's a young kid, so great fight, great main event. Loved it, and I'm happy for Gaethje to get one more shot. And again, Ilya is not, like you said, that is not a fun fight to walk into. But if you want to be champ, that's what you got to do. You got to beat guys like that. And this is his last hurrah. And, I'm glad he's going to get one more shot at it.
I know you guys are kidding about the Thug Rose fight.
She was robbed.
I know you're joking. She was outstruck.
I don't care about being outstruck. This isn't a totality. This is a round by round fight. I hate when that is an excuse for how fights went.
I mean,
it's round by round basis.
If you want to argue that you think she won 2-1, I can hear that. We can't
say robbed for what it's worth.
No, I'm saying, I know he's joking. That's why I said, but there's no way you can argue she was robbed. You can argue that you think she won the fight, and I'll hear that. But
that's what I'm saying. I think she won 1 and 3. I think she got robbed.
Okay.
Pickpocketed her.
Let's move forward to this card.
All right.
Great card. I'm super high. I'm super fired up for it.
A lot of energy coming at you, right?
This is a terrible card. This is a fight night. Now, the reason it's not a fight night is because they have Volkanovski versus Lopes on the card. But, what are we doing? Dan Hooker and Benito.
How is Dan Hooker back on a main card?
Oh.
Why do they do this back to back? I don't understand.
I don't know.
Paramount, they can do stuff like this now. I think they were just trying to make a big splash with the Paramount deal. And I will say, I'll give the UFC credit. As much as I hated some of the ads that were happening, during when they were in corners and during walkouts and things like that, the presentation looked clean. It looked very crisp. Everything was fluid. I thought that all looked great. I hated how they tried to sell us that they were starting an hour early, and then the first fight didn't even start until 9:45 anyway.
Yeah,
but it annoyed me because then we still ended up finishing 12:30 or whatever it was. So that part of it annoyed me. But I thought the presentation was very crisp from Paramount.
Oh, Jared Taylor. If Gaethje ducks to the right after every punch like he did this past fight, he's going to get knocked out by a more skilled boxer. You have no fear, Jared, because I'll tell you something right now. He's going to walk in there with Ilya, and Ilya will knock him out cold. I promise you that. If that's the fight he wants, I don't really think he's going to want that fight. But we'll see. There's no chance that happens, but we'll find out. This card, any fight outside of the main fight you want to talk about, Joe?
Outside of the main one, not really. No, I mean, it's fun to see Bam Bam get in the octagon. Dan Hooker's always entertaining, but that being a co-main event is nuts. So I mean, nothing really I gotta get into. I like Fiziev, I like Mauricio Rufy, but nothing I gotta get into.
The main fight has already happened. Diego Lopes has fought Volkanovski. And I told you guys when this fight happened, and I'll say it again, I would definitely sign up for 5 more rounds of that. So I'm okay with these guys fighting again for 5 more rounds. No issues on my end. I just wish they would put better fighters on the card so I didn't have to watch Dan Hooker versus Benit Saint. I'm saying the name.
Benoit Saint-Denis
versus Dan Hooker in a co-main event, which is a joke. That is literally the headliner of a normal prelim card.
Or it could be on a if you bumped it down 3 spots, it could be there.
Can't be spot.
I'm saying like the first one you open with.
Yeah, I wouldn't use it as an opener here.
It's a fight night card.
All right. Who we got in Volkanovski versus Lopes 2?
I'm going Volk. I'll make this easy. I think he retains. I think it'll be a great fight, just like Gene said the first time. To be very Gaethje Patty-esque. This will be little muscle guys running around for 25 minutes, beating the shit out of each other. That's what it's going to be. Both cardio freaks. This will not be a boring fight. So I just think Volk's better. I think he retains.
I got Volk retaining here as well. I think as long as it's not Ilya walking down that ramp there, I think Volk will take care of business and just kind of where he's at right now. And I also think that them fighting a first time already, I think that favors Volkanovski, just given his experience in these kinds of title fights and things like that. And of course, it's going to be a good feel for Diego Lopez to know what Volk's power is like, and how he moves in the octagon and things like that. But I just think with them already fighting, I think Volk's a machine, man. I feel like he was able to just capture it, put it in his computer brain, and he's going to go out there and Volk will destroy. So I like Volk here. I'm going to go decision. I think it's another decision, but I think this one will be a lot more definitive.
I agree with both you guys. I wish I could just I wish I could argue or debate. You guys know I'm always down for that. Like, once again, I agree with the fact that Belichick should be in the Hall of Fame, but I kind of argued against it because I understood. I'll say this. I wish I could argue here. I wish I can give you guys somewhat of a debate. I see it playing out the exact same way. 4-1 decision for Volkanovski. I think it'll be a good fight, but I think Volk will do more. I think he's the more prepared fighter. So I got Volk in this one. I think it's by decision. I think it's a good fight again. It'll be entertaining. No one will be upset they watched the card. But kind of sucks that this is the whole card.
Absolutely. It's kind of crazy, too, that as good as last week's card was, it could have been even crazier because you could have had, and not saying that Silva made it bad, but you could have had Grasso versus Thug, and you also could have had on there Kayla Harrison versus Amanda Nunes.
That's a big fight.
Yeah, I mean, Kayla Harrison unfortunately got hurt, but
yeah,
at the end of the day, I can't wait to watch that fight. Kayla Harrison ran her mouth.
I didn't see the Lewis fight. What the hell happened at the end of the Lewis fight?
What do you mean? He got knocked out?
Yeah,
I know, but like it looked like he got hurt and then just kind of fell over.
I mean, that is.
But it was
like,
but it was like a jab. It wasn't like he got like smoked.
He kind of got like touched, but he was also out of gas. And then I think there was a slip in there too, but he was like, I got nothing left, and just kind of rolled over and just got hit a lot.
My balls was hot.
They were hot. They were definitely hot. But at the end of the day, once again, good fight. Good, entertaining heavyweight fight. Somebody gets knocked out in a heavyweight fight. I'm never going to complain about it.
No. If you see heavyweight fights that go the distance are awful, because by the time even if it's a 3-round fight, unless it's the rare occasion, but like you get heavyweights in the 3rd round, it's not good. It's sloppy. It's not ideal. Derek Lewis just can't get over the hump, man. I feel like we go down this road with him all the time. Like, he loses, now he'll go win like 2 or 3 fights and look good, and then Dana will put up against somebody good, and then he'll get smoked again.
So I don't know what you guys wanted to talk about NBA wise, but I had one topic in mind. Are we good to move on? By the way,
yeah, absolutely.
I had one topic in mind that we didn't get a chance to talk about. I will ask you this, and this is just my own mind running. Are you excited for the All-Star game? And let's talk about the All-Star starters. Do you guys agree with positionless basketball offensive starters? Because
for an All-Star game, yes.
Because the East versus the West All-Star starters is such a weird mismatch that like the West has 2 centers, absolute center starting, The East has 3 guards, 2 of them being extremely undersized. The East biggest tall starter is Giannis, who might not play.
Calf strain. Anyway, I have a question.
Yeah.
Because I don't. So do they just take the top 5 vote getters now and they're the starters? Is that how they're doing it now?
A troll question.
For both conferences, yes.
Okay, so like you're not voting for like the best center and then picking 2 forward. Like so, you just whoever you vote, like the top 5 vote getters start. So it could be 4 guards.
So they're doing it. They split them up by 2 now. They don't. I believe center is not a part of the vote. It's just front court, back court, 2 back court, 3 front court.
Okay.
So like, but the weird thing is though is that you have guys like what Gene's kind of getting at. You got Jaylen Brown is like a starter in the front court where like he could be looked at as a guard, but we're positionless basketball here. So
okay, I get it.
You know, you go that route there. But I think it's going to be interesting too because ultimately it's going to be that round robin tournament thing again this year. So I don't know how this is gonna look. Am I excited for it? No, but
just be done with it.
Yeah, Victor Wembanyama, Nikola Jokic on one side, and the other side has 4 guards: Tyrese Maxey, Jalen Brunson, Jaylen Brown, and Cade Cunningham, with Giannis as the lone front court player. I don't know. It's gonna be
it won't look like this though, because the round robin stuff is going to be World versus USA, and they're splitting all of them up into 3 different teams. So it'll look a little bit different.
So
when is all this stuff? Yeah, exactly. I feel exactly like G. So fired up. When is all this?
February 15th.
Cool. I gotta be perfect. Valentine's Day weekend. I'll make sure I have something to do.
Sorry, I couldn't watch the All-Star game this week.
Sorry. I had to rush home from dinner to watch it. Yeah. I just. Do we know who's doing the dunk contest or anything yet?
Has not been announced.
4 people I've probably never heard of.
VJ Edgecombe.
Is he in it?
He's one of the very, very popular names that they want in the dunk contest this year.
Yeah, I'll root for
He'll
him.
be there already for rookies and stars. Sorry, rookies versus sophomores, Rising Stars game. So,
Rising Stars game will be honestly the Rising Stars is going to be interesting when you get.
I feel like it's been better the last couple years.
Oh, for sure, and I think it's a nice touch adding in the G League guys because they have something to prove. So,
yeah, they give a shit.
No, I think the Rising
is that
Stars
real?
is good.
Is what?
Comment in the chat. Is the Super Bowl next year on Valentine's Day?
I believe so.
That's super late for the Super
They're
Bowl.
moving it because the new thing is that they want to add in. I don't know why it's going like this for next season, but ultimately they want this to be the new norm because they want it to fall with President's Day on Monday. So a lot of people get off of work there, but they also want to add in, the extra game in the schedule there, take it to 18 games and throw the extra bye week in. So I don't think that that's happening fully next year, but that's going to be the new norm for the schedule.
Craziness. I don't know.
If football's gonna be year round.
Yeah, March. We'll get the March game. St. Patrick's Day football.
Seriously, spring training in March. Like Jesus Christ.
All right, can I tell you guys something really funny, and we'll get in a small NBA talk, and then we'll get out of here. But there's a guy I work with, and I absolutely did this. This is one of the best cons I ever pulled in my life. I didn't take his money, so just before anybody calls me a scumbag, I didn't take his money. So on May 5th, I was working a day in Malvern, PA. May 5th. And what I used to do is I used to display tablets. So I used to just put them on the table. I would play a YouTube video or whatever, display what they look like or how you're using them, because selling tablets used to be a thing, right? I'm working with a so-called Giants fan that I knew wasn't very into sports. So I put on the Eagles-Giants Vic comeback game, and I played that on YouTube. And he walks right into it. Cottrell, right into it. He goes, the Eagles playing the Giants? I'm like, yeah, this is the Cinco de Mayo game. It's the May 5th game. He goes, really? I'm like, yeah, that's what all the lights are around the screen. He goes, oh, it's awesome. He He's like, who's winning? I'm like, Giants are right now, but I think the Eagles are going to come back. He goes, no, they're not. The Giants are better. He's getting into this whole like, and I know what happens because it's a recorded game. I'm like, oh man, the Giants just scored again. They're up 21. Is when they took that big lead going into the fourth quarter. I said, I'll bet you $100 the Eagles come back. And he goes, there's no way. I'll bet you $100. And he bet me $100. I'm like going nuts as I'm watching the game. And then we're watching it together as Deshaun Jackson returns it. Like, I really wanted to just drive it home what happened in that football game. And he literally was about to give me $100. And I tell him, I'm like, this is not a game that just happened. This is one of the best games that's happened a few years ago. And it's Christmas lights, not Cinco de Mayo lights that are on the screen. But
poor soul.
It was funny. NBA standings. I want to ask you guys a question. We're going to do the whole pie chart thing again. You remember the pie chart? I remember the pie chart. We're going to do the pie chart.
Pie.
Uh-oh.
So I want to ask you, and you can only use 5 pieces of pie. That's it. That's all I'm giving you. You're not getting 6, just 5. We're going to cut that pie in 5 slithers. Give me the 5 pieces of the pie who can win the NBA Finals. And what the percentage of the pie, how big the piece of the pie is. Are we having a whole half of the pie for Oklahoma City?
I think
I want to get your percentages of the pie.
I need to look at the standing.
I don't even need standings for me. I think a big part of it is who do I want to leave out of the West there? Because I mean, I feel like I have to throw in a couple East teams just because they're gonna get there. Like they don't have it. This is a very open East. Oklahoma City absolutely needs a piece of the pie. Give Oklahoma City a 25% piece of my pie.
Ooh.
Okay. I think that's low, but go ahead.
Same.
I want to give Denver a 15% of my pie.
Okay. So you're at 40. I'll do the math for you. For the kids watching at home.
No, I may have to go higher. You know what? I am going higher. I'm going to give Denver a 25% piece of my pie. I think they're playing well, even without Joker right now. I got to really think about this because I'm at 50% here. On the East side of things, I might be on my ledge here. That's okay. I'll give the New York Knicks 10% of my pie.
Okay.
I am going to give the. I can only. All right, so I only got 2 more teams left here. Got 40% to still give, and I might have been low. I don't know where I want to end up. I'm gonna give the Cavs 20% of my pie, and I'm gonna bump up the Denver Nuggets
of your pie,
and I'm gonna bump up the Denver Nuggets and the Oklahoma City Thunder to 35%.
Well, we're in the middle of talking. I'll view your question. If you really want us to try to name those and you're going to send $100 to someone, that's fine. We're in the middle of talking, bro. I appreciate it. Like I just wanted to put it on the screen. I'm not going to cheat. I'm literally on a live. What do you want me to do? Google? You want to put my hands up? I'm going to answer the rest of the question that we're talking about. And then if you want us to get to your question, I don't have no problem taking a shot at that. Callie, give me your pie.
All right. I'm going to start with OKC.
Okay, how many percentages?
Give me 45 for OKC.
Okay.
Give me big piece of the pie. It's a healthy man
Healthy
slice of
serving.
pie. What?
Healthy serving.
Healthy serving. No scare of diabetes for Oklahoma City. Give me I will go give me 25 for Denver.
70.
Give me 20 for San Antonio. Give me, so that's what, 90?
Yep.
Give me 8% for Detroit. And 2% for the Sixers.
All right, so I have a 50% pie that I'm giving to the Oklahoma City Thunder. I have a 20% pie that I'm giving to the San Antonio Spurs, a 20% pie that I'm giving to the Houston Rockets. So wait a minute, Gene, how's that? That's like 90% of your pie. Yeah, you're right. I'll give 5% to Denver and 5% to the Detroit Pistons. Those 5 teams are the teams that I'm putting in that. And by the way, to answer your question, which since you think we're talking to one person on live, we're not obviously, but you're from Philly. I'm from Philly. Like we can talk about it in person too if you like, Philly Mike. But the last but not least, I think the Thunder win the finals, but I think if there's going to be a team that knocks them off, it's the Rockets or the Spurs. The Spurs are the deepest team in basketball.
Well, I think the one thing that, well, really two things that haven't kind of mentioned with the Spurs is that we talked about it last week with the Spurs. You said, your words, not mine, Spurs are arguably the worst coach team in basketball.
Yes.
And I don't know how you, even having Wemby is all world. Even having Wemby there, it is going to be a uphill battle to win the West and be that poorly coached. So that's why I'm not as high right now on that Spurs team. And as far as Houston goes, I loved Houston before seeing them play and where they're at right now. Before watching them play, because like it's going to be sustainable because of the talent that they have, but like it's clear they don't have a point guard, and now Steven Adams is out for the rest of the year, so they're not going to have a true enforcer on the boards there. And like Sengun is great, love Sengun, love Thompson, love KD. They're going to compete. They're going to be great. Like, don't get me wrong. I just don't know if they have all the pieces right now, especially with Van Vliet being out, not having a true point guard there, and then not having Steven Adams with the experience and the true toughness, on that team. I think it's going to be a tough uphill battle for the Rockets, and that made me kind of change how I feel about them just over the last couple of weeks.
We'll find out. I think the Spurs go out and they don't do anything. I think the Rockets go out and get themselves a point guard. I really believe that they can get a backup center. Andre Drummond could be moved. A lot of people are thinking he's going to get moved from Philadelphia the way the Sixers are playing Bona. I could see them getting an Andre Drummond, a Drew Holiday for a playoff run. And I think both those guys would be super helpful for that Rockets team. The Spurs, they're just so deep. And like, yeah, they're the worst coach team I watched. Maybe I was being a little bit overly crazy when I said that, but their talent is so good. Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, Victor Wembanyama, they're deep, man. Yeah, I didn't mention De'Aaron Fox, Harrison, like they're loaded everywhere. I do want to, just for the hell of it, because I like challenges, I do want to answer this. I'm glad you unsubbed. Cool, man. Thanks. But I will answer your question. I don't need the $100 donation. I'm doing fine. Elway's won. And by the way, just for anybody listening on the podcast version, breaking news. You can name the 6 quarterbacks who have 2+ Super Bowls before the 2000s. Elway's 1. Aikman is 2. Montana is 3. Bradshaw is 4. Staubach is 5. I'm missing one, though. I'm missing one.
How many Steve got?
Steve Young has 1. He only won in 94.
Bart Starr got 2 right off the bat.
Bart Starr's a good one. I don't know if he has 2.
Didn't they win the first and second Super Bowl?
Let me see. You might be right. I just want to get the right answer. Bart Starr led the Packers to victory in the first 2 Super Bowls. So Bart Starr would be one. Is that the 6? Am I right? Let's look it up.
That's 6.
I don't need the $100 from Troll in the chat, but the answer through here says there's 7. There's actually 8. Bart Starr, Bob Greasy, Jim Plunkett are the 3 I didn't get. I got Elway, I got Staubach, I got Aikman, I got Montana, I got Bradshaw. There's Bart Starr. Super Bowl 1, Super Bowl 2, and then Bob Greasy, Super Bowl 7 and Super Bowl 8. Jim Plunkett, Super Bowl 15 and 18. And then the ones I knew off the top of my head were Elway, Staubach, Aikman, Montana, and Bradshaw. So not bad. Let's get into You Got to Be Kidding Me. We'll maybe use that guy.
All right, so this week for me, I'm sticking in the home turf here. I'm going to the Big Ten. It was revealed earlier this week that Rutgers last season lost $78 million. Now, that's their athletic department. And of course, that is a gigantic number. But the number that they've lost since joining the Big Ten in 2014 is astronomical. Rutgers has lost $516.9 million since 2014 and joining the Big Ten. Talk about getting in a conference that was too big for your britches. Rutgers, you absolutely have to figure it out, because it's one thing if you have success in certain places. And Rutgers was a big time spender last year in NIL and as far as basketball goes. They had Ace Bailey, they had Dylan Harper. Like, you would imagine that they were a powerhouse last year in basketball. Well, guess what? They weren't. They didn't even make the tournament. So Rutgers is spending all this money to try and keep up with the Joneses, and they have absolutely nothing to show for it. So this week for me, Rutgers and the failure that's going on in their athletic department.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Shally, have fun.
So I'm gonna preface this. This is mainly a Northeast thing, but it's prevalent all over the country. If you live in the Northeast this time of year, there's a lot of cities and neighborhoods where there's a lot of street parking. So when you have a major snow event, you are responsible for digging out your own parking spot or your driveway, whatever it may be. Now, I'm not one of those crazy people that's going to, like, if I dig out a spot, then you come home and take it. I'm not going to shoot you like some people do. But I will say this. During last weekend's snowstorm, there's a street that is behind my house. They do not have driveways like we do. They have street parking. But there's one specific house that had a bunch of people that sat there for 3 straight days on their front porch and drank, smoked weed, did whatever the hell else they were doing. I don't know. I don't care. But they decided not to dig their cars out. They watched everybody on my side of the street plow out their driveways, plow out their entryways, put it all in the middle of the street. So when the plow came along, it got taken away. Lo and behold, the reason I was late for the show today, I come home tonight and find out these lazy asses finally decided to dig out their cars today. But they didn't dig it out to where it would make sense. They dug out their cars diagonally and put the rest of the snow pretty much back in everybody else's entrances to their driveways. Now, mind you, the street I have is not that wide. So when there's people parked on the street, you could barely get 2 cars next to each other going. These cars are now in the middle of the fucking street. They are parked diagonally. They just kind of shoved in there. They're diagonally. Nobody could drive. And if you're going on the right side of the street where my driveway is, you can't pull the fuck in. Because there's no angle to get past the huge mounds of snow that we already shoveled off our fucking driveways. So now I'm praying for a snow event. I am praying for another snow event. Even though I had to go out there and bust my ass, shovel, salt. Liz did as well. God bless her soul. But these people will not see their cars for weeks after it snows next time because they're going to be buried under a fucking igloo of snow when I'm done shoveling my driveway. So that, being just lazy assholes and not having consideration for anybody else, it's already hard enough in the Northeast with the snow. These dumb fucks that live behind me, they get the presence of me giving. You got to be kidding me this week.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
It's really funny. So what I do, and I don't really shovel out my spot. I live in an apartment. So I shovel so I can get out. And then I drive back over the snow that I ran over because that's my spot, right? I screwed it up. I don't shovel it. That's my spot. I won't go in someone else's unplowed spot, like the one they shoveled out. Like I won't do that, but I 100%. I shovel enough to get my wheels moving so I can roll over that shit. Like I'm not, doing the whole, it's very clean under my tires now, but I definitely am not doing that. My You Gotta Be Kidding Me this week is very, very simple. It is Sean McVay. For a guy that's a genius, a guy that's a mastermind, a guy that is considered, widely regarded as one of the best coaches in sports, for you to not have the thought process to drop a challenge flag instead of calling a timeout and forgetting that in one of the biggest moments of the year for your team, it's unacceptable. And Sean, I'm sure you're taking your own flack to your own self, thinking about what you should have done. But I watched that football game, and I think that's fourth down. Whether it's 4th and inches or 4th and 7, I think that's fourth down. Give Seattle all the credit in the world for having the gall to throw the ball multiple times on 2nd down and on 3rd down when they had no timeouts left. You had the opportunity to get the 4th down earlier, and you blew it. So you have to fully understand that this You Gotta Be Kidding Me is all on you. So for this week, Sean McVay.
Come on, you gotta be kidding me.
Gentlemen, any final thoughts?
I got nothing.
Well, I mean, we're in the golf season. I know it's gonna make Gene happy, but
I started to like golf now.
I know I love it. Brooks is back, which is big news for the PGA Tour. He's going to play this weekend, which is nice. I think we're kind of starting to see the end of Live, so it's going to be very interesting to see how all that plays out. But
They got their money, so
they did. So, but got that this weekend. That's about it. And then we got the Olympics coming up, boys.
Summer Olympics.
Winter Olympics.
Oh, when is that?
2 weeks.
2 weeks.
I have no idea. None whatsoever.
We talked about Lindsey Vonn like 2 weeks ago.
Oh yeah, we did. Yeah, it should be fun. I don't like the Winter Olympics that much.
Why?
I don't know. The Summer Olympics have all the better events.
I mean, you're not wrong, but
I don't really like luge, bro. I don't like.
Oh, you gotta watch.
How can you luge and bobsledding and curling? Come on, man. It's all great.
You gotta watch some curling. That's what you gotta get into.
I'd rather watch track and field and swimming.
I get it.
They're more exciting. I mean, hockey will be good this year because all the NHL players are back in.
They give me another TJ Oshie moment, I'm good.
Yeah, it'll be a battle. The skiing stuff, I mean, I like the downhill and all that stuff. I told Cottrell too. I like I forget what it's called, but I like the what?
No, it's a luge. I just like
the luge. No, I like the cross country where they got to shoot the rifles and all that stuff. It's fun.
Jesus Christ. Okay.
It's a real thing. What the hell is it called? See, I gotta look it up.
Like that cross country stuff where they shoot the rifles.
Chloe Kim and snowboard. No, the Winter Olympics has got some stuff that you can definitely just. Give it a shot. Give it a shot this year,
I'm gonna
Gene.
try. It's gonna
The
be
biathlon. I like the biathlon. That's what it's called.
Well,
Give it a shot this year, Gene.
I'll give it a shot. Well, that's all we got then. I appreciate everybody for tuning in this week, the Wire Sports Podcast. Thank you for the 22 that are still live right now, not the one like the dick in the YouTube chat. But I appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much, Tom, Karam. There's a ton of you guys in the chat throughout the whole night. Team 3D, Jared Taylor, Steigen, Kyle Edwards, Jory, Tom Gallo. Yeah, I'm being petty right now. Absolutely. That's okay. Thank you guys so much for tuning in this week's Wire Sports Podcast. I'm the NFL Genius Gene Walls. It's Kent State's own, Cleveland's own College Control, Uncle Shelly, Scholastic Shelly, Mr. William Shawcross, and we are signing out.